Hey guys, Sword here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe Revelation Clamp Champ. That is right. The OG token character of the Masters of the Universe lore and mythos, brought to us by the fine folks over at, say it with me now, Mattel. And this is a perfect example of a token character done right. We all know how I feel about Sunman. I think it's rather forced. But Clamp Champ here, I think he's a better figure than his good old buddy Fisto because he came out later. The engineering's a little better on the Masterverse line at this point, as well as the quality. So I'm not going to give Clamp Champ here too much schmack for being a better figure than his, we'll say, white counterpart, because I really don't see it as a token priority thing, at least not this time. So with that being said, let's cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Starting off with Clamp Champ's accessories, he does come with a pair of alternate hands here. He's got a fist and a grip hand for the opposing sides. Got a grip hand on the right side and a fist on the left. He has the thicker wrist pegs as well. I'm surprised Horde Skeletor actually didn't have that. The Web Store, the New Eternia Web Store from this wave, actually has the thicker wrist pegs. And the Prince Adam, I'm not sure because I don't have that figure yet. But maybe someday. And then we also get his infamous clamp. Now I do wish that we got a clamp for both sides. That would have looked really cool. But the way this clamp works is you pop it apart and he holds the handle from the bottom. Like it goes in like this. And then you kind of close the clamp over it. At least the top half anyways. And there you go. That said, it does have a spring-loaded claw, which is pretty cool. No button to push. So it is kind of awkward, but it is a fairly strong spring. I would have kind of liked an articulated claw though, but at the same time, it's fine. It's a little large. I mean, compared to him, it's almost as big as he is, but, you know, he's not going to pick people up with a little dinky claw, I suppose, so it's fine. That said, that's all he comes with. So, again, I wish he had something for this side, but it is what it is. But Clamp Champ here has some of the newer engineering, like those dreaded drop-down hips. I'm not a fan of, but unlike Horde Skeletor, his actually work a little better. I definitely feel them shifting up and down in there. And then he does have the new torso articulation, so an improvement on Fisto, we'll say. So hopefully we'll get a reissue of Fisto at some point. Speaking of which, he does have armor similar to Fisto, but it is a little different. It's not exactly the same, so that is cool. And that's pretty much it. Other than the wrist pegs being different, he's a standard Masterverse buck. The loincloth is softer too, by the way. The belt seems to be a harder plastic than the rest of the loincloth, but the loincloth here does appear to be a very soft, pliable material as opposed to some of the earlier Revelation figures. They had a stiffer loincloth. Still, you know, rubber, but not as soft as this. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head pretty much just rotates. He is pretty locked down. I mean, you can kind of half it on the ball joint there to make him look up. But eventually you're just going to pop the head off, so you can hear it kind of snap back down. So he's pretty locked down. He's got the cool flat top. I always like that about Clamp Champ. I guess one thing they could have done is given us that demon head that he had, but maybe they'll do another version of Fisto that'll come with both heads for both him and himself. That'd be kind of cool. They used to do that back in the Classics days, right? That said, his shoulders go out, they go back down, they rotate. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double elbow, like Horde Skeletor. His are not tighter than a son of a gorilla. He does have a wrist swivel with a hinge, of course. It The wrong hinge for holding weapons on the grip hands, but I'll give him a pass because he really doesn't have a choice. He's got the torso articulation. It's not as locked down by the armor, but it is locked down a little bit. Let's have a waist swivel. I already showed you the drop down hips. He does kick forward and back, out, back down. Thigh cut. He does have a double knee. That works pretty well. He's got a boot swivel, and then he has a hinge in the foot with a rocker. A little loose on this ankle on mine, but not terrible. This side is tight enough, and most of the joints are tight enough to help hold him up. He does have 2 peg holes. So put him on a stand if you need to. But as far as this clamp goes, I guess I will show how this is supposed to be placed. What I'm going to do is put his hand on here, and then this will clamp onto the top like this. There you go. That said, I like to turn this. That way it's it can rest at his side here. And that's a pretty streamlined look. I like that. I wish he had 2, because he'd look really cool with 2, but this thing already weighs enough, and it's going to make him not even top heavy, just one-sided heavy, you know? So it could be problematic, but it seems to be okay for the most part. But yeah, man, I dig Clamp Champ. I think he's a cool figure. Is he perfect? No. He could have come with a little bit more as far as accessories go, but he does have that giant clamp, so I guess we can give him a pass and move right along to some size comparisons. How's that for a segue? First up, here is good old Clamp Champ alongside the other 2 characters that flanked him in that first episode, the Masters of the Universe Revelation series. We got Teela with the wrong head, mind you, but this is the version of Teela that was in that first episode, obviously. And then we also have good old Fisto, an oldie but a goodie. I still like both Fisto and Teela here. I think they look really cool with Clamp Champ. And, you know, some of the earlier figures in this line, while they do have their shortcomings, like the torso articulation, these guys don't have the same torso articulation as Clamp Champ here, but if you get all the classic looking characters together, it makes for a really nice display. Maybe not one that rivals classics, because the aesthetic is, you know, different. I mean, it's okay being different. It's not a bad thing. It still looks good. They all look good together, and I think the Revelation figures, they look better together than they do apart, and this is no different. I really like how this looks, and can't forget Fisto's die-cast fist, right? That's still pretty cool, right? Said, let's move these 2 out of the way. I do wish that Mattel would update Fisto, though. I think he deserves it. Teela, I'm sure will get like a new Eternia one or something like that, but hopefully Fisto comes back in Revolution and gets another figure that's got the improved engineering. But since it wouldn't be one of my reviews without him, here's the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus right there, and the infamous 11 Spawn, who as usual, yep, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time now to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and unless you're holding out for a new Eternia version of good old Clamp Champ here, then I honestly think this is a pretty solid representation of this character, even though he is from Masters of the Universe Revelation and possibly Revolution. I don't know, they could go to Subternia and get him back from the old Scareglow there, right? I think this is a perfectly serviceable version of Clamp Champ. Yeah, it's a little cartoony looking, but Masters of the Universe has always been kind of cartoony looking, so I don't see that as a drawback. I think this is a fine figure of this character, and it beats paying whatever it costs to get a Classics one, right? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.